Welcome home to St. Anne's. We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you. Alrighty, let's see where we go today. I'm going to call this sermon Dirty Christians. I don't normally title my sermons, but if I were to title my sermon, it would be called Dirty Christians today. I know. Chuck is so happy because now he has a title. So this is a complicated gospel, and I hope you feel a little bit better hearing that the disciples don't get it either. So anytime you're like, I just don't get Scripture, I cannot wrap my head around it, I don't understand what God is saying here, take comfort. The disciples didn't either. And they were following Jesus around all the time. And they got to pull him aside and be like, hey, Jesus, we didn't get it. You and I don't get to do that. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. It's complicated. Scripture is difficult, and you and I not only don't have Jesus right there to whisper, hey, we didn't get that, can you explain that again? But we also have generations and generations. There's a fly, that stupid little fly. Generations of culture and experience and the world changing that separate us, so sometimes it just doesn't make sense to us in the same way. And that is why we take the time to really dive into it and pull some of that stuff out and see if we can understand it a little bit more. Really, there's no point in my preaching and spending all the years in school that I did if this was just easy and it just made sense. We wouldn't be here doing this. So let's dive into it a little bit. Because one of the things that's going on here is Jesus' reaction to purity culture. And purity culture and the purity laws are very, very important at this time. And Israelite culture is very important. And indeed, many societies and many cultures at this time have purity laws. So let's talk a little bit about the point of purity laws, which is a little bit different in that time than, say, our purity laws today, which we also still have. But the point of purity laws at that time was safety, the safety of the community. And think of it in this way. The body is a microcosm of the society, of the community, right? So when you think of things that put your body at risk, and we're all thinking a lot about that these days, we worry about what goes into the body. And we worry about what comes out of other people's bodies that might come into our bodies. And we have rules around those things because that keeps the community safe. Think about it in the same way that a town or city would have walls. And the walls keep you safe. That's like our skin. Our skin keeps us safe. However, there are gates to the community, gates to the city, and there are gates into us physically in our bodies. And those gates, those places where the community can be penetrated, are where danger comes in, right? The gates of your city are where you need to be to focus most of your attention, right? The gates of the city. And the same is true for us in our physical bodies. So when we have purity laws are focused at the safety of the community and the safety of the physical body. Those two are parallel images, right? I'm probably not explaining this terribly well, but, hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. You're not here in front of me, so I can't read your reaction. So we're going to hope that all makes sense. Okay. So the laws that you need to be most strict are the ones that guard those entrances, because those are where you are most at risk, right? So we have a lot of rules about those things. We have rules about eating and cleanliness. We have rules about what to do about women when they're on their period, because that's weird and things are coming out of places that freak us out. And we have rules about sewage and things like that. We have rules about food and risk and things like that. We really like to have rules about sexuality because that's a fun one to make rules about. But you'll notice all of these rules are focused at the gates. They're all focused at the gates. There are lots of purity laws about what to do if someone is cut and they're bleeding, if someone is dying and because they could be diseased, things like that. What to do if your eyes are being all weird. All sorts of things that would be the gates. Those things would be most at risk. So does that make a little bit more sense when we realize that Leviticus and all these purity laws are really about the safety of the community? Because the problem is, you and I, now, we don't have some of those same fears. We have science and we understand how to keep the gates safe. But we still love purity laws. We love purity rules. We love them. Oh my gosh, we love them so much. And so we get obsessed about them. We get obsessed about sexuality. We get obsessed about food. We get obsessed about all sorts of things that are lots of fun. And you know what's even better? Other people's purity rules. Because I don't like to worry so much about my own rules, but I love to worry about other people's rules, right? I mean, that is what we get really hooked on. And Jesus comes to us and says, you're being stupid. You're being stupid. Those laws exist for the safety of the community. That's it. We wash our hands because we don't want other people to get COVID. We cover our mouths so we don't want other people to get sick because we know droplets are dangerous. We know to practice sexual safety. We know not to get blood all over other people. We know those things. But why do we know those things? Because it's about the safety of the community. I care about those things because I want to make sure that you are safe and healthy. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with me saying you're an evil person. None of that. I don't say God bless you when you sneeze because I'm worried that demons are expelling out of you. By the way, that is originally why we said that, because we were like, oh God, some demon may have just No, I say that because I hope you're not sick. I hope you're okay. And that's me acknowledging you as a human and being like, hey, I hope you're okay. That's not me going, ah! So Jesus comes to us and he says, calm down. You guys are so obsessed with the physical. You're so obsessed with physical purity that you're missing the reality, what is truly defiling you. Because we're so busy worried about whether or not other people are masked. And we're so busy but worried about this. And we've started to fight about it, haven't we? We're not so much worried about the germs. We were supposed to be fighting the germs, and now we're fighting each other. We missed it. We missed the point. Because me wearing a mask is not about me judging you for not wearing a mask. Me wearing a mask is about me making sure that whatever germs I have, I don't give to you. That's what that's about. It's not a point for me to be angry with you about. It's not something for me to fight with you about. It is literally a way for me to acknowledge your humanity and say, I care about you. I want to make sure you are safe. Because what defiles us is our obsession with rules and judging and hating. That is what defiles us. And that's what's so important that Jesus points out to us. It's not what you consume. It's not what comes out of your body. It's not any of those things. It's what comes out of your heart. What comes out of your mind. What are those feelings that you have towards other people? What are your behaviors towards other people? Those are the things that defile us. But it's so much easier, isn't it, to worry about the physical stuff. It's so much easier to judge other people for the physical stuff. And it's the judgment that is the defilement, not the actions. So remember today, because I realize that we are all knee-deep in this, and we're all struggling. We're trying to make sense of it, and we don't know how. And that's hard. Acknowledge that. Acknowledge that it's hard. And if it's hard for you, it's hard for me, it's hard for everybody else too. It's hard. We're all figuring this out together. It is not the germs that defile us. It is not our sexuality that defiles us. It is not periods that defile us. It is not what we eat that defiles us. It is how we treat one another in the face of those things. It is a judgment that we give to one another in the face of those germs of sexuality, of gender orientation. Those are the things that are defiling us, and those are the things that we have to be willing to face so desperately. However, having said all that, please don't take Jesus too seriously when it comes to the not washing your hands thing. Please do. Please do wash your hands, because I also care about the germs. That does not change your humanity. But at the same time, please make sure you wash your damn hands.
We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you.